What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first installment of this thing I call the breakdown series. So basically, I want you guys to let me know if I should not talk to a camera and just stick to playing drums. But what I'm going to do in this series is basically talk about some of my favorite recordings that I've done in the past few years with some of the bands that I've grown up playing with that brought me to Nashville, brought me back home, and all these other kind of in-between stories and behind-the-scenes looks of how I was thinking while I was recording these parts and these drums. Now, this first band I'm going to talk about is a band that I met as soon as I graduated from the Atlanta Institute of Music. Now, that's in Atlanta, and kind of towards the end of my time there, I had a call from one of our faculty basically letting us know that, hey, this band is looking for a drummer, here's a contact and all this stuff. And that actually went through a good friend of mine, Clayton Murray, and basically he got in touch with the school, and the school told him, hey, we have some good drummers about to graduate, here's some contacts. So I auditioned for the band and basically got in. And the band is called Hamrick and Haynes. It's no longer together anymore, but it's the band that pretty much started a lot of my professional career. And it's been short so far, but it's a huge firing off point for me. The band was consisted of Chris Hamrick and Nick Haynes, two of the best singer-songwriters I've ever had the chance of knowing and getting along with and being good friends with. I actually lived with Nick for a good amount of time, and they're the band that I actually moved to Nashville with. And I lived with Nick for a little bit. And basically this song was our first real single that I did with them. They had some songs already written and stuff like that, but this one's called Malibu. Now, Malibu was written by Chris and Nick, obviously, and then we demoed it, worked with a couple producers and stuff like that, and we finally got in the studio and got to finally track this thing. And it was one of the best experiences, and sometimes there's a little bit of a headache because there was times where I was kind of not really understanding the real studio aspect of it, and thankfully the producer engineer at the time was real patient and helped me through some things, like whether or not I was hitting the floor tom harder, etc. So let's take a listen to the song, and I'll break it down as we go. So the intro pretty much starts off with this badass riff. I believe when we did this, actually, our guitarist at the time was Jared, and he's an amazing guitarist. I'll tag him in the video. And he came up with this cool riff for the intro, and it's real, like, kind of beachy, bluesy. I couldn't really describe it. And I remember a funny story where we had to get a filling guy for a show way back when, and the guitarist didn't even realize that it was one guitarist playing this part. He had so much hardships trying to figure out what Jared was doing, and he found out that it was actually one guy, so he had a lot of work cut out for him. But anyways, this intro starts with just, guitar, stuff like that, and then verse comes in, and I'm basically just playing shaker and stuff like that. And this song, in my opinion, is the best representation of how a song builds, especially in the country genre. Sometimes they can kind of just keep a vibe the whole time. They can throw it real hard right away, but this one kind of shows how each layer of the song is added. Now, when the chorus kicks in for the first time, there is a programmed beat, and obviously when we played it live, I didn't really have tracks that we were playing with, so I'll demonstrate a little bit of what I was doing over top of that. Now, coming out of this chorus, I do this real basic, fill-in lead to go into the verse, second verse, I should say. And we go into what we call the money beat in drumming terms. And basically, I pretty much tell every student the first couple drum beats that you learn are based off of this groove. And if you can play that and play it well and drive a band and drive the music, you're going to get paid for years. So I still, to this day, play this beat pretty much every day of my life. Okay, so we go into the second chorus out of that verse, and I'm just crashing on the ride, doing, same kind of groove and stuff like that, and I'll kind of cut through that kind of stuff for you guys. And just like in country fashion, there's verse, chorus, and then a guitar solo. And now this guitar solo is badass, so I'm going to play it for you guys, not on guitar, but I'm going to show you guys, I should say, how to keep the groove through a solo. Now, when we get into the bridge, this is a real big example of how it can either be a bridge that goes up or a bridge that goes down. And a lot of times nowadays, a bridge goes up into a dynamically down part of the song. And that's a pure example of this song. Basically what happens is I'm going to go on the hi-hat, and I was thinking basically just keeping it driving, keeping it big, keeping it huge for the next section that is basically going to go from here all the way down to here. Back to shaker, back to basically bare bones, nothing. Just guitar, vocals, and shaker. Now we get into the last little bit of the chorus. Like I said, it's going to be down. So your goal is to not really play much at all. Just keep the vibe going, make sure the band is staying in tempo, all that kind of things. And what happens here is that I'm going to put a little bit of a hi-hat lead in and then just build it up with some hi-hat stuff. And then when the last bar comes in, I'm going to do a big build, fill into the big, payoff chorus.
Let's go. I got a plan to get a tan, fall in love all over again. So baby, what you say we go to Cabo?
And then out here, we just do a couple stops, the little thing that a lot of musicians call a retard time. Well, awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. This is my first time ever doing something like this, let alone even talking to a camera. I wish you guys were sitting in the room with me. I would feel so much more comfortable rather than just staring at my camera underneath a cymbal. But yeah, just let me know if you guys enjoyed this and if I should keep doing this. Hope you all have a good one.
We were drinking Malibu, Malibu.